Hey leaders, welcome back. This week is going to be so awesome and really fun for the kids. This week is all about the man that built their house on a rock and man that built the house on the sand, okay? And how we should build our lives on the rock that is Jesus and the Bible, okay? And what the words of the Bible say. And so it's going to be a really fun week. I want to also encourage them at the end of the service to bring their Bibles next week. If they bring their Bibles next week, then they get a special prize, okay? I want to really encourage them to start bringing their Bibles, and that's one way that we're going to start doing it, okay? This first activity, you're going to have a lot of tongue twisters, okay? So you have a whole list of tongue twisters on your first activity as they start walking in. Just be like, hey, how fast can you say this word? See if you can make it even a competition of how fast kids can say the word, like speak sweet speech, or what words wound a woolly worm, stuff like that. It's going to be great. This next one, what you're going to do is go ahead and you'll have some picture it activity pages, and there's a lot of them, and you'll also have this clipboard, and so they'll be able to hold the clipboard and go somewhere in the room where no other kids can see. They will read the phrase to themselves, or like get it in their minds or whatever, but they're trying to basically get the other kids to guess the words that are in bold or underlined. So those are the words that they cannot say. They can say a blank in the middle of a blank blank on a blank, okay, to get them started. But kind of warn all the kids that these are weird images that don't really make sense, and so don't try to make it make sense. It's just going to be, hey, how well can you guess the word? So they can do a Pictionary version of this. They can do the kind where you just start saying descriptive words or whatever, anything that they can do to start getting these phrases and seeing how fast that the kids in the room can guess the words, okay? That's gonna be a fun activity. I'm excited for that one. Okay, this next one, you're going to have two clipboards, and what you're going to do with those clipboards is put them some form of distance on the other side of the room from the kids, okay? And you can do teams if you want to do that too. What they're going to do is basically figure out a way to go to those clipboards and back. And when they come back, they're going to tag the next person in line, and they have to tell that next person in line how they're going to get to the clipboard and back. So for instance, it could be, I just did my turn, I tagged the next kid, and he has to crab walk. And so I say crab walk to that next kid. They have to crab walk all the way back and come back. The next one, they high five, and that kid comes up with something else, maybe like do a handstand walking. And so they have to try to do a handstand walking all the way over and then all the way back. But that's going to be really fun. Just think of different creative ways that they can listen to each other, but also going back to that point of listening for God. So practice listening to God, and there's a practice and a lot of those things that they have to do to get fast at it, okay? As they practice those things, you can even redo the whole thing to where they've already had a practice round, and now they can see if they can do it faster if you want to time it for them. Okay, this next activity, you will have all different kinds of things for them to do. Now this can be all kinds of like exercise activities like jumping jacks, jogging in place, high knees, stuff like that. You're going to have them repeat that memory verse as a group, okay? So they'll open up to 1 Timothy 4:8 if you want to have them open up the Bibles, which I do recommend that they do. And then you'll call out different ways for them to move each time that they say those memory verses. And so if they're doing jumping jacks, just be like, okay, now you're going to do jumping jacks and you have to say the memory verse. Now you have to do push-ups and you have to say the memory verse. But try to get them to all say it at the same time and doing some sort of different activity. But again, going back to practicing the verse, practicing our physical bodies and everything can be all practice from hearing from God, okay? So that's what we're working on. This next one, you'll have index cards and some pins and stuff like that. So this is a lot more of a calm activity, but what they're gonna do is go ahead and open up to Proverbs 2, 1-5, and look at ways that they can practice hearing from God this week. And they're gonna write down a way that they think of that they can practice hearing from God this week, okay? And so they can take these home, they can pray that they do these things when they get home, and then go ahead and have a prayer time during that as well, okay? The secret word for this week is questions. Why questions? Because you guys asking those kids questions gets their minds thinking more than just telling them, right? And so do whatever you can to ask them questions that are, of course, biblical and ways to get them thinking about the Bible, or creative ways that they can be doing something that relates back to the story. The more questions that you that you ask as a teacher really helps get their minds going for how they're learning. Okay, so questions, more thinking for them. You're also going to have an extra activity if you need it. There is going to be a deflated balloon in your box, and so what you can do is inflate that balloon. If you need this in extra time and everything, get them all in a circle, and they can pass that balloon back and forth, and they'll have to listen for a key word. Now, with that key word, you could say a word that's maybe in the Bible verse or something. So you could say the word training or something, but I would be like reading the Bible and then just kind of randomly put that word in there to see if they're really listening. And so it's just another listening activity so that they can really key in to those different things. Okay. You can also pull up like really funny stories online on your phone or something like that. There's some really weird ones out there. But then you just like throw in those keywords and see if they can catch it. Okay. Thank you guys for all you do. See you guys this weekend.